What's up, everybody? I'm Rob Mann, and I have opinions.
Hi, I'm Raymond Pennie, and I've returned from the USA, and I have a whole new set of opinions to share.
Ooh, new opinions. March 2026. Mr. Pennie's Opinions 2026, or at least March of it. All right. So what we're going to talk about today is we're going to talk about Raymond's takeaways and mine, but mostly Raymond's from the sessions of Exec for Staffing Industry Analysts Exec Forum 2026. Even though in the episode I told you I wasn't going last week, I ended up going as of like Saturday, the day of the week, 2 days before flying. Shout out to the team at Glide. Maybe I'll give Rod a quick pitch here because he did, pay for the travel. So I'm helping him out with some things. But we'll do that a little bit later. Maybe in part of the context of the takeaways. And yeah, Raymond, I will let you crack into the takeaways, and I think we can start. How about I start with the first one? How many booths? So there's 30 or 40 booths. How many of them had AI written on the stand somewhere?
So there were 36 or 38 booths, depending on whether you include the one that was around the corner that wasn't really included in the room. And 18 of them had AI somewhere on their backdrop. And not all of those, in my world, were really AI. Like, hey, Daxtra, you don't have to say you're AI. You were doing machine learning before people knew what machine learning was. There was also a lot of people who were doing voice AI, but calling it a person's name. So there were, the one that I didn't know was Ascendia.
Oh, those guys are really sweet. I like them a lot.
And I'm sure there was lots of sweet people, but people who have named their business after a person's name. Alex
Ascendia is not someone's name, is it?
Is it not? No, I thought.
Do you know someone's name, Ascendia?
I thought that was what they were trying to do. They'd neat, sweet pictures of people. Alex AI were there, Orbio, Tenzo, lots of names.
Tenzo's, well, Tenzo might be someone's name in like Japan, but like it's not someone's name in the States or Scotland, right?
That's fair. That's fair. And then people like,
so out of all the things you just named, only one name is coming.
Yeah. Hey, Alex. I thought Tenzo was a name, and I thought Albi was a name, and I thought Orbio was a name, but maybe I'm a little bit out of date.
Guys, I want to call out Raymond here for a second. Raymond has operated in a global staffing business. He runs a global systems implementation and software business where he's sold into most of the Western countries, including parts of APAC, parts of Latin America, and he's never met a person named Orbio.
I think I want to now. I think in the future, when I'm in Mars, I'll be in Mars. I will just have landed, and it'll be, hey, my name's Orbio, and I'll go, my name's Raymond, and then I'll send a quick IM to Rob going, met my first Orbio. So of the people that were there, of the people who were there, who were of the 18, I think there were maybe 4 or 5 who were true AI providers and true AI providers who make a difference. And I think I'd probably call out the guys at Nebula for being something slightly new. Had a great conversation with Stephen Talbot. So I think that's exciting for the spaces they're in. It was great to see Broadbean back as Broadbean, as opposed to someone whose name I've forgotten already.
Veritone.
Yeah, glad to be back. Also, I didn't have a cupcake. I really didn't have a cupcake. They tried to get me to have a cupcake, but I didn't do that.
You could have brought it to me.
There was some new branding for SourceFlow. Could have done. There's some new branding for SourceFlow, which is interesting to see, and more later about Rogues. I didn't know so much about Rogues, but I'll come back to that as we go.
Yeah, he demoed it to us last year.
Is the answer to your riddle, Mr. Mann.
So 18 out of however many. And then we had I
think 38.
38. And then we had 4 or 5 that you think actually provided real value in AI. Okay. Very cool. And then Nebula Ropes are doing something interesting and unique. And Broadbean is back. All right, cool. All right, so that was kind of like takeaway 1, 1.0. What else do you have for us?
I probably saw the best session I've seen in a long time on stage, and that was the very first, or the closing of the first day, that had a panel with Teresa from Beeline, with Jeanette from EmployBridge, with Art from Bullhorn, with Michael from Randstad, and a gentleman I didn't know, Mike Small, from the US country president of Adecco. And I think he probably said things in the best way, that the combination of people plus agents plus AI are going to allow the recruiting sector to get into areas that they weren't in before and to maintain or increase their margin. So call out to Mike Small. Thought he was very engaging.
So Mike Small, in one of the previous episodes, either 3 or 4, is the person I called out at TechServe from basically saying that he will purchase your company if you were doing something interesting with AI. And that was back in 2024. I don't know if you remember that. That's Mike Small. So
I remember you saying it. I didn't remember it. I didn't put the two people together.
Yeah. It's not surprising. Actually, I think it was episode 4, because we were talking about what sessions you were looking forward to going to. And he came up and I said that about Mike Small. So not surprising that he had something very interesting to say, because he's been thinking about it nonstop and it has resources to throw at it, to do interesting things. So shout out to Mike Small again. Maybe we'll get him on. Maybe we get Mike Small as our first interview. I'm going to try.
Yeah. And Adecco had just put their numbers out, and they had increased their EBITDA by 30%. So as well as being there speaking about the future, he then had some numbers that he could use to back it up. So well done, Mike.
I like it. Amazing. Let's keep rolling here. So that session was really good. Anything else about that session that you want to highlight? Well, go ahead.
Okay. So the second and third thing. So I think that 18 people, great panel. Then the next part I had was Jason Hellman from Bullhorn did a very, very practical, very visual guide of what AI has been doing for some of the customers who've been in the early adopters program at Bullhorn. So if you wanted something visual, something that showed how things work, that was the one for you to go to. The interesting part was to say that they really need executive buy-in for it to be successful. And you can get a series of playbooks, you can get a series of templates, and then have an expectation to build capacity internally, or ensure that you've got either a fractional or a consulting agreement, but with the view that you're building your internal knowledge. So they were the takeaways I took away from Jason. I then followed that on with Pankaj from Sense. He gave a good chat, brought a customer onto stage to speak about what they'd done together, which was refreshing to hear it from a customer's point of view. And he went very predictive. Well, that's a lie. He started by looking backwards, and he took his predictive slide from the end of last year's chat that he did, and then he ticked off the things that he'd got right. And then what he did at the end was he put forward what did 26 and 27 look like as he went forward. And I think we should all be looking forward to a fully autonomous agent that is going to be the big shift. And it's going to be natural language, fully autonomous agent, where you can go, hey, hire me 5 nurses in San Francisco starting Monday. And the agents go and do it. And then the last part of the same series that I went on was I went and listened to Salesforce. And Salesforce, if you're listening, please, can you come to a staffing event with staffing knowledgeable people who can talk to staffing leaders and not technical people who speak about orchestrations and words that no one in the room really got. There was a couple of guys at the front wearing Salesforce socks, and they really got it, and they asked really difficult questions. But for the rest of the room, I think you really had to be in it in order to understand what they were trying to put forward.
Remember that 2019 when
That's me.
Do you remember 2019 when Kevin Jones, the then CTO of Herefish, was in a room with the head of automation for Bullhorn? And Kevin was like, here, you just click these 3 buttons and you get automation. And then the guy from Bullhorn was like, well, we got to make a call to the AWS server and then it's going to bounce back and we're going to do that. And we're just like, well, number one, thank you to Bullhorn because I made a lot of money because of that, because I was the salesperson at Herefish who could click and not code to make automation for recruiting people who are inherently not that technical. So Salesforce, you got to be able to translate. I call it the translator, right, Raymond? I think you do a good job of translating as well. So.
Yeah, I bought what they said. I bought the pictures. It was really interesting that the Bullhorn slide and the Salesforce slide look remarkably similar in that they think that
like
agents
Jason's
will
slide
be able
and one
to
of theirs.
break. Yeah, that agents will be able to break the dependency that staffing companies have on the number of staff in order to make more profit or make more sales. So they both had the same slide, but different logo in the bottom right-hand corner. But Jason put it very, very well, and Salesforce had a slide that showed the same picture that Jason had.
Well, Jason is one of the people I consider one of the greatest translators, if that makes sense. He is a unbelievable technical, but like very smart, but also could put it into layman's terms very easily. So he is probably my favorite translator to work with. Really kind of putting technical things or making layman's terms into technical things for the devs, or taking the devs nonsense and making it human. So it's a very good skill to have, right? Makes you the head of AI and automation at Bullhorn, or the SVP.
Translation is always a good one.
Yeah. Anyway, okay. So just quick, what we went over, 4 to 5 out of the 18 stands have meaningful AI. If you don't follow Punkage from Sense and Jason Heilman from Herefish, though Punkage probably speaks in public more often, you should, because Punkage apparently was he like 5 for 5 on his predictions for 2025?
Yeah.
Yep. And then the Mike Small speaking the truth. So if you can catch him, definitely do.
And then there was one other thing that I learned. Oh, we're over talking each other. Sorry. Yeah.
No, I'll just do the last one and then you can jump in. And then the last one is Salesforce needs to be less technical when they speak to staffing owners. Sorry, Salesforce, but hopefully that helps. All right.
Yeah. Sorry.
Go ahead.
And then I had something that I've not heard so much about in the UK or in APAC, where if the second bullet point on a number of presentations were about the increase in candidate fraud. Now, I'm aware there is an increase in candidate fraud. I didn't realize that it merited being the second bullet point on some of the keynotes on the main stage. So call out to Ropes, who I didn't really know what they did, but they do a good job of geolocationing and IP addressing and person who checks and skills inflation reviews,
all kinds of stuff.
All of things that I didn't know.
If you haven't talked to those guys, they're pretty cool. We came up against them in a CIO roundtable. We have at Leap, they had I don't know if they still do it, but they had a CIO roundtable. And like the one in the fall, so we did it quarterly, the one in the fall of 2025, all of the CIOs either were using Ropes already or were talking about it. So there's like 600 million, probably closer to like 250 to $750 million IT staffing firms that were all the CIOs are all talking about Ropes. So definitely important. Anyway, all right. From the Lounge Lizard takeaways, if you will, it seemed like sentiment, everyone was kind of optimistic. I don't know if that's just like the beginning of the year optimism that we always get. And I did see a lot of AI, and I don't know. I think the vendors are still really concerned they're not adding headcount. But the staffing and recruiting companies felt optimistic. If that's my only takeaways. What did you think from your general conversations, Mr. Pennie?
No, I think that's fair. The one other conversation I took away with me was, if you are a staffing owner and you are mildly technical, it's really difficult to work out how to evaluate different AI offerings clearly, because it moves so fast, and you could evaluate 1 week and 2 weeks later you'd evaluate again and the product would have improved. So I think it's a difficult time. And there was an interesting debate around whether you should do pilots or not. Where I landed was, if you want to do a pilot, be very clear of your pilot, and during your pilot, you should see the product improve.
Yeah, I could see that. And anyway, all right, guys. So next episode, Raymond and I are going to talk about a new job title that we've been throwing around, and we're going to potentially come at it from different ways. I think Raymond and I have different ways about it. So should be an interesting conversation. As always, if you are not following us either on Spotify, Amazon, I refuse to put Apple in because I can't recover my password because I don't have Apple products. But anywhere else that my unstubborn ass has put the podcast, including YouTube, if you took any value from this, make sure you subscribe. We appreciate it. It helps the show. It helps Raymond continue to do the show with me. Otherwise, he'll leave me. It's really sad. And we appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, everyone.
Thanks for tuning in to R Cubed, where Raymond and Rob talk recruitment, or recruitment is talked about by Raymond and Rob. Please remember to subscribe wherever you are tuned in and give it a like. Also, those comments are going to help get this show on the road. If you found anything valuable, definitely need to subscribe. But thank you guys so much, and we'll see you next episode.